Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. Big Dog Country Radio. And Bob, a great victory for the Wayne County Varsity baseball team last night.
It was fun to call. That Connor Langdon was as good as advertised. But Wayne County's Roland Blount was pitching shutout baseball with him. So Wayne found a way to win. Got a big 6-2 win. Play Friday here for a doubleheader. Should be fun.
All right. Well, we've got State Representative Buddy Deloach on the phone with us right now. Bob, take it away.
Yeah, on the phone with us. It's Wednesdays Without Workheiser. I kind of like that title.
Wednesdays Without Workheiser, starring
Buddy Deloach.
Deloach.
Yeah, so Buddy, always good to see you. We just went through crossover day last Thursday. Just want to get your thoughts on what passed, what didn't pass. So give us your thoughts.
We passed 75 bills out of the House on one day, on crossover day, and I think the Senate did about 45 that they sent to us. We're still sorting through and beginning to work them through the committee, and we'll do most of that in the next 2 or 3 legislative days because we can see the finish line now.
Yeah, April 4th, I believe, is the last day. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. One of the interesting things that's happening, and it makes me very happy. I've talked to y'all before about us being flooded with these foreign pond-grown shrimp. We do have a bill that's passed the House and moving through the Senate that's going to penalize, that's going to require people to put on the menu the origin of the shrimp that they're serving. But we got a new event. They've come up with a DNA test for shrimp, and it's fairly inexpensive, and you can get results in 2 hours. It tells you exactly where the shrimp came from. And I had a supplier in Brunswick call me yesterday, and he said, Buddy, since they started going to restaurants and testing the shrimp to find out where they came from, he said, our orders for local shrimp have increased astronomically. So these restaurants are afraid they're going to get caught serving that foreign grown shrimp. So it's going to help our shrimpers.
Sounds good. You know, go back to the Eggs and Issues breakfast. Y'all did a good job previewing what's going to happen up there in Atlanta. You talked about the money for hurricane relief for Hurricane Helene. You talked about the money put in for Department of Corrections. Talked about tort reform, which the governor's still trying to get passed. So, you know, y'all did a good job of previewing what's taking place. So that's basically what is taking place up there. But as Stephen said, nothing's over till it's over. So you see anything that didn't get through crossover day still coming up for debate up there in Atlanta? Any other issues?
Well, what'll begin to happen now, if it's really worthy, chances are it'll get put on another bill. There's still the opportunity to do that if you didn't get it done. But right now, the budget and tort reform are pretty much taking up all the air in the room and all of the energy in order to get the money that was needed for corrections, to hire the additional correction officers that we need, and to build some of the facilities. The House, under the leadership of Chair Matt Hatchett, Chair of Appropriations, issued a bond package and used the cash money the governor was going to spend to build buildings and facilities. They use that to help with the corrections, both adult and juvenile justice. So that set up a real battle. We'll see what we passed that budget yesterday. That's the 25 budget, the 26 budget. We passed that yesterday and sent it to the Senate. So we'll see what happens with that. The other obvious, very, very big issue is tort reform, and I'd like to talk just a minute about that. The governor sent a bill to the Senate, and they passed it with one change that they negotiated with the governor's office. When it got to the House, the Speaker has put it in a special committee of folks that he appointed, and the governor really doesn't want any changes made in the bill, and so they're pretty well locked down. The bill has some issues, and if we're allowed to amend it, and fix those things, I think it's going to pass, and I certainly can support it. We desperately need to do something, particularly about premises liability. But they're sending out these ads saying, stop frivolous lawsuits. Well, there's nothing in the bill that would do that. So those things they're saying just don't match up. We need a bill that it really solves some of the problems. And unfortunately, this one creates some problems. I've made it clear that in my earlier life, I spent a lot of time settling those claims, working for an insurance company, and I've looked eye to eye with many a person seriously injured through no fault of their own. Their lives changed forever. And dealing with the insurance company was difficult for them. And I'm not going to do anything to make it more difficult for them to recover. I want you the folks out there in radio land to think about dealing with insurance companies, and we don't want to make it more difficult and push the scales too far in favor of the insurance companies. That's just not going to work. We've always got to think about those people that are legitimately injured. We got to figure out a way to deal with those lawyers that are just filing these frivolous suits. And you give me a bill that'll do that, and I work hard for it every day. I hope we fix this one. I want to vote for it. I want to do tort reform, but we aren't there yet.
And just joining us on the phone with us is State Representative Buddy Deloach. Buddy, you're familiar with the Okefenokee. We talked to Stephen, talked to Blake. They said that those bills did not get crossed over. So, people in Okefenokee looking for some protection for that swamp. So you're very familiar with it. Your thoughts on that? Why do you think that hasn't gotten through?
It did get a hearing in the House, but it was past time to move a bill. The general feeling among the members is what we've done so far has protected the swamp. And the argument on that side is we aren't going to let anything happen to the swamp to change it in any way. And they're convinced that current statute does that. I'm not sure of that. I was more involved in that issue and supported it hard last session. This term, it obviously wasn't going anywhere, so I haven't been that close to it. But I am fairly comfortable, not 100%, but I think that we are going to protect that swamp one way or the other.
Well, that's good to hear. Because a lot of people, I said that's a jewel in this area, and a lot of people around that swamp would like to see it protected as much as it possibly can. So that's good news to hear. So like I said, you're very familiar with it. That's in your area. So again, appreciate that. But again, we appreciate you being here on Wednesdays. Again, always good talking to you. We'll talk to you next Wednesday as well as the session winds down. But stay safe in Atlanta. Always good talking to you.
Thank you. I love being in Wayne County, even if it's on the radio. And I'll see Bill Werkheiser this morning and tell him we did it without him.
Yeah, tell him we'll see him at the golf course soon.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Have a good day. All right, Buddy Deloach here on Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Wednesdays with State Representative Buddy Deloach. Well, we had all three of them call in this week. That's a trifecta for this week. Sometimes they get tied up and not able. One of them is not able to call in, but they were all here this morning.
Yeah, we didn't get Buddy last week because he was tied up, and Stephen was tied up as well, but got them all three this week, so it's good to hear from them. It's good. Like I said, the good news is that budget's passed, and that $5 million for Wayne County projects is in that budget, so that's great news. So, like I said, I talked to Del Keith the other day, lined him up to come on and talk more about the project here. So we'll line that up, and looking forward to getting him because he knows all the details about that industrial park and how vital it is to Wayne County. But to get that $4 million to help secure that project is great news. And another $1 million, Stephen Meeks said, is in that budget for the JC project down there, the landing with Congressman Thomas, or former Congressman Lindsey Thomas. And
is that some of the items they've been talking about through the years of putting a center down there? What are they going to do with
Well,
it?
they got the walkway and everything.
They got the walkway, but what's the $1 million going to go for, do you know? Bob, find out. We got $1 million. What are we going to do with it?
I'm sure they'll find a way to spend it.
Well, I'm sure they've already got it planned, because I know that they have presented plans several times over the last few years on like a nature center, making the walkway longer and things of that sort. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what that $1 million at J.C. Landing is going to, because that's a big natural resource that we have here in Wayne County. You know, when you grow up around it, you don't think about it, but that Omaha River, and it is really undeveloped county to county line, and it's a great natural resource for recreation, for swimming, for boating, for fishing, for nature watching, bird watching, walking through the woods, all that kind of good stuff.
I'll get Lindsay or Mickey Thompson to come in. They've been much involved in that project, so one of them can come give us that information. So we'll line that up as well.
Well, Bob, we have in the studio with us this morning David Moore from Oak Wind Baptist Church. Good morning, David.
Good morning. How you all doing?
We're doing good. Now, we've been promoting here on the radio about a big event that y'all have got coming up this weekend at Oak Wind Baptist Church here in Wayne County. So tell us who's going to be here and what he's going to be talking about.
Okay, Dr. Scott Stripling, who's with the Associates for Biblical Research. He's the director of excavations at Shiloh and was at Kerba El Makader. Basically, the world's top archaeologist, or one of the top archaeologists in the world. He's an author. He's the provost of the Bible Seminary in Katy, Texas. He's done a lot of things. He found the curse tablet on Mount Ebal. If you know Joshua chapter 8, Mount Gerizim was the Mount of Blessings. Mount Ebal was the Mount of Curses. And when they came back into the land conquered, they hollered curses and blessings from the thing, split the tribe of Israel into 6 and 6. 6 of one tribe went to one side, one went to the other side. And on where Joshua's altar is, there was a curse tablet found on the Mount of Curses, which is phenomenal. He also found the biblical city of Ephraim, which John 11:54. That's the final month right before Jesus did the triumphal entry and Palm Sunday coming up. That was where Jesus spent his final month, was in Ephraim. This gentleman found Ephraim. He found also the biblical city of Ai right after Jericho. Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho. He went to Ai and conquered Ai. He found Ai. So he's done that, and I guess it's not Ai, it's I. I always mispronounce it, but it's I. And then he found he's currently digging at Shiloh, which is where the tabernacle was. It was the first capital of Israel. It's where Eli, when he heard about his 2 sons dying in battle, he found the gates where Eli was when Eli fell over and died himself. Samuel, the story of Samuel, was there at Shiloh. So that's where he's currently digging, and he's going to be here Sunday, a guest at our church, which is awesome how God just arranges things. But he's going to be our guest Sunday, and then we're going to have a dinner on the grounds afterwards where hopefully people can kind of rub shoulders with one of the world's top archaeologists and get to know him. But he's just a really humble guy, but really done some phenomenal things over the years.
And once again, his name is?
Scott Stripling.
Scott Stripling. Man, he has done some major digs, hadn't he?
Yes, sir.
Man, and so it'll be great to have him here in Wayne County at Oak Wind Baptist Church this Sunday, and service time will begin what time?
At 10:15 a.m. Come a little bit early. We're expecting a good crowd. We're glad that he's coming, but we want everybody that's not involved at their church. If you don't have a home church, come see us.
Okay, and tell folks the location of Oak Wind Baptist Church here in Wayne County.
Okay, it's at 175 Oak Wind Church Road, Screven, Georgia.
And it's off what highway?
Off,
is it off 203?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, I was trying to, because I always turn down, I never look at the street number.
Yeah, you go down 84, you turn right on 203.
Yeah, you turn right on 203,
and you'll see
hang left.
You'll see Oak Wind on the left out there, because I used to live in the Kayville area for 4 years, and so used to pass that road in the church all the time heading out that way.
Yes, sir.
And what a great guest that we're going to have here in Wayne County, this archaeologist. I mean, you're just talking about the digs and the sites that he has excavated through the years. He is one of the premier top archaeologists in the world, and he's working on Shiloh right now, and he's going to be here in Jesup, Wayne County. I guess you could say Scriven, not that far, but in Wayne County this Sunday, beginning at 10:15. He'll be speaking to the folks there who go to Oak Wind Baptist Church this Sunday, and then afterwards you're having dinner on the ground.
Yes, sir.
So you can have some one-on-one time with him to kind of pick his brain about some of the digs and some of the sites that he has excavated and studied, and the different things that he's done through the years.
Yes, sir.
Man, that is something else.
It is. It's awesome. And, we just barely scratched the surface of all his accomplishments. And, he's going back, I think in May, going back to Shiloh to do more digging. And it's if you know where the West Bank is, this is the West Bank area. So this is the area that you hear on the news. And he's going, literally risking his life because he wants to do digs, and it proves that the Bible is accurate and you can trust the Bible.
You know, it does show that as each year, basically as each decade's gone by in the past, let's say, 100 years, they have found more and more of these sites. You know, was that a real site in the Bible? And then, you know, they do some investigating, some digging and so forth, and boom, there it is. And so these are just not made-up sites. These were sites that were around back 2,000, 3,000 years ago that folks are finding, like this archaeologist and other ones through the years.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because there's more going on. There's like Lachish is currently having digs. There's a lot of other sites that are mentioned in the Bible. Over in Egypt, there's a gentleman doing digs over there. He found the city of Avaris, which is where is now called Ramses, which is where the children of Israel left before they started the Exodus. Well, that's has been found. They found some interesting things there. But Manfred Beatock's not going to be our guest, but that's the gentleman that's excavating in Egypt. There's throughout Israel, there's different ones doing excavations. And the stuff that they're finding is phenomenal, and how it lines up with the Bible. It's just, the Bible says it, and it proves the Bible is right. The guys of the Bible were written when they said it was written. Like that Mount Abel curse tablet had writing on it, and it has Yahweh El, which is Yahweh and El together, but it's in what's Proto-Hebrew. And with being in Proto-Hebrew, what's great about that is it shows, some people say Moses couldn't possibly have written. Well, if Joshua could have written, Moses could have written. So it proves those ones that say Moses didn't write the first 5 books of the Bible, proves them wrong. And it proves that the Bible is accurate and true.
Okay. Well, get your mic on. Go ahead.
How were you able to line this guy up? How did you make contact with him? Because, like I said, he's one of the world-renowned archaeologists. I know he's busy and traveling all over the world. So how did the Scriven Georgia Church, Oakland Baptist Church, get him?
That is a God thing. Facebook friend, on Facebook, he mentioned that he was going to be preaching at another church, and it's a rather large church, which, understandable, world's top archaeologist preaching at a large church. Well, I said, you're making me envious, and I'm about to preach a sermon about how envy's a sin. He goes, well, invite me. So I DM'd him an invite, and he's on his way. And I'm like, wow. That shows
That's great.
He's really humble that he's willing to go any place, because he's flying in especially for us, going to come speak, and then he's going to fly back out, Sunday afternoon. So, he's very busy, but he took time out of his schedule for us.
That's great.
Yeah. Now, looking at here, seeing where Shiloh is on the map, and the West Bank area there of Israel, and some history about it and things of that sort. So, folks, if you get the opportunity to go to Oakland Baptist Church this Sunday, beginning at 10:15, listen to this archaeologist, and then afterwards have dinner there on the ground and be able to talk to them and meet them. This is one of the top archaeologists in the world going to be right here in Wayne County this Sunday at Oakland Baptist Church. Hey, you don't know until you ask, right?
You don't know.
And you just ask them, and I'll show up.
Asking you shall receive.
Yeah, sometimes it's as simple as that.
It is.
Yep. And so that's great. I'm glad that y'all are having them there, and it's going to be a great event for Wayne County to have this archaeologist here in town. Once again, his name is?
Scott Stripling.
Scott Stripling.
Yes, sir, of Associates for Biblical Research.
Okay. And so this Sunday at 10:15 at Oakland Baptist Church off Highway 203 here in Wayne County. And so anything else, David?
Well, I could go on for a long time. When you talk about Bible and archaeology, I could go on a long time. It's how long do you all have? But yes, we
got 10 more minutes.
Okay, we got 10 more minutes. Well, the date of the Exodus. He's an author, and several of the books that I own, he's one of the authors of several of the books, which is interesting. One thing that's interesting is he's a proponent for the early date of the Exodus, of the 1400 BC date of the Exodus, whereas they say, it's the King Ramses, but he's proven that Amenhotep III was the Pharaoh of the Exodus instead of Ramses, because, long story, but he proved that it was actually an earlier date. And if you look at the earlier date, them leaving Avaris, going through the Sea of Reeds, because it's Yam Suf instead of the Red Sea. They go through Yam Suf, and he basically mapped out where they went, how they got there, and then how he goes to the land of Midian. But he has that all in his book, where it's the 5 views of the Exodus. He's in that particular book, but he maps out how they got there and proves that it should be about 1446 BC, because of 479 years before they built Solomon's temple. They know when Solomon's temple was built. In 1 Kings 6:1, it tells you 480 years, 479, 480 years. So they know when they entered the promised land. So he could backdate each one, and he does that in his book. So this guy has done a lot more than just excavate. He's really went back and double-checked these things. And basically the entire conquest from the time of Moses on, he's done tons of research, and that's why he's doing things. Another thing they found is there's these footsteps in archaeological footsteps that are huge footsteps, but it says where all the steps that your feet are on you will own, and they left archaeologically. They built like these large footsteps throughout Israel, and it goes up to Shiloh. So that's another thing that's pretty interesting that he discovered.
Yeah, I'm looking at a map here of the area around Jerusalem and Shiloh. It's very. Have you been over there?
Not yet, but Lord willing, someday I'll get there.
There's a map that shows the elevation and so forth like this, and it's really hilly and over there.
Yes,
you get away from the coast there, right from Tel Aviv, and get into the Shiloh, the Jerusalem area. There's a lot of hills and mountains out through there in that part of the Israel.
Yes, sir. Well, like when he. There's a video that I posted to my personal Facebook yesterday, but where he's at the gate where Eli passed away, and the runner had came up to. Well, they panned the camera away, and you can see the valley down below that the runner had to run up to Shiloh.
Yeah,
to get there.
You can see it right here. Jericho's to the west of Jerusalem and southwest of Shiloh, and it's kind of a flat area down there. Mm-hmm. And you can see if you left from that area, you'd have to go uphill to get to Shiloh.
Yes.
Yeah, and uphill and downhill to get to Jerusalem. I've never been over there. I've seen videos and stuff like that, but there's a lot of hills, a lot of mountains over there. I mean, either going up, down, around, and so forth like that. And you can just imagine for those 3 years that Jesus and his disciples, I mean, they were up and down and all around the mountains there, from Nazareth to Jerusalem to Capernaum, to all of them through there. That's a lot mountainous area.
Yes, sir. Well, you mentioned about Jesus being there, Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim. The woman at the well scene happened to be in the valley between those two. So when he's talking to her, in the background is Mount Gerizim, the Mount of Blessings, where the Samaritans had worshipped. And he's talking to the woman at the well, saying, I can give you living water. Basically, choose this day whom you will serve. Are you going to serve the Lord, or are you going to serve, pagan deities? And so the woman at the well understood this, because she was having a visual lesson, because we read through the Bible and we just read it as text. But she was looking, and she's looking at the Mount of Blessing, and knew exactly what he was talking about, and that's how, God is so awesome how he does things. He uses what we relate to get our attention sometimes. And that's the woman at the well. She's talking about physical thirst. He's talking about her real need of spiritual thirst and how she can be truly blessed. And right in the background of that well is the Mount of Blessing, Mount Gerizim. But they were down in that valley right between Ebal and Gerizim.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a very interesting talk that he's going to do about his history, his archaeological work that he's done, and especially what he's working on in Shiloh right now.
Yes, sir. It's going to be awesome. People come out, need to come out, hear him, because, this is literally once in a lifetime type thing. Or I should say, and I've been in the ministry. I won't give away my age. I tell everybody I'm 29, but I've been in the ministry longer than 29 years. But somehow I'm 29 and holding. But all the years in ministry, I've never had this caliber of a speaker ever before. And this is like just awesome how God works it out. But he's really a phenomenal quality. And what's interesting, he started off a pastor, that when he went to get his doctorate, he got into archaeology, and now has developed into a world-renowned archaeologist. So he's both a pastor and archaeologist.
Well, that's great. Appreciate you coming in this morning, David Moore from Oakwind Baptist Church, talking about the big event he's got going on. They've got going on at Oakwind Baptist Church. Everyone's invited. 10:15 this Sunday morning. I get to hear him, the archaeologist, and then also get to have dinner on the ground and just talk one-on-one with the guy.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
All right. Have a good day.
Y'all have a blessed day. God bless.
All right. I'm just going to finish up things with Bob. Have a great day, David. All right, Bob. Just a great victory for the Wayne County Yellow Jackets last night in varsity baseball action. And I'm not sure what all he had on sports this morning because people just text and stuff. It says Wayne County varsity boys defeated Perry last night 2-1.
What's that? Must be soccer.
Soccer. Wayne County varsity soccer beat Perry 2-1.
We didn't get that score. We got the girls lost.
So that's the reason why sometimes people will text them in since they didn't hear the girls. The boys won 2-1 over Perry last night. So way to go. So we beat them in baseball. We beat them in soccer. Way to go, Wayne County. That is fantastic. And so the next game will be the doubleheader this Friday at Howard Bowarden Field as Perry will come to town. And this pitcher, he'll be back on the mound, I'm sure, this first game on Friday, won't he?
No.
You won't?
No, we won't see him the rest of the series on the mound.
Oh, we won't?
No.
Oh.
I mean, it's a 3-game series. He won't be able to. He won't come back.
He won't come back?
No, he pitched Tuesday. He won't pitch Friday.
He won't pitch Friday?
No.
Oh, wow.
He's done. He's on a pitch count.
Okay.
He's already pitched his limit, so we won't. He'll pitch the next series against whoever they play, but he'll beat people. I promise you. We're fortunate to get that win, like I said, but his catcher kind of abandoned him twice. So the catcher can handle the breaking pitch or the fastball one time. So like I said, we scored on a walk and 3 pass balls. We scored on a walk and 2 pass balls. So you won. I said it was a crazy game. After 5 innings, the line scores was Wayne County 2 runs, no hits. Perry, no runs, 5 hits. So go figure.
They're hitting and not scoring. We're not hitting but scoring.
Like I told him, it's like Joe Garagio's book. Baseball's a funny game. I mean, it can be strange sometimes. But Wayne County found a way to win. Hats off to Rowan Bland. He stranded a lot of base runners. I think he stranded 6 base runners in the first 5 innings. Tate Altman came in and closed it out. So luckily we got out of there because the umpire, I don't know what he was seeing. He called it, the ball was 2 feet foul of third. He called it foul, and they're running around the bases scoring runs, and all of a sudden he lets it go. What Christmas
It's a
gave
good thing we won.
Yeah, they had the time run come to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. It was hold on to your seat. As I said on the radio, the great Jay Brinson said it many, many times. He said, "Boys, don't let them in it. If you let them in it, they'll take it. Make sure you
bury
go out there and get this game in hand." And so those men in blue aren't nowhere in the picture because if they're in it, they could take it. So, and that strike zone got awfully small in that 6th and 7th inning for one game.
Shrunk, huh? There's some shrink wrap on that thing.
I don't know. I don't know if he closed his eyes on some of those pitches or what. It's right down the heart of the plate. Ball. But I saw that. Go ask Long County people that went to North Gwinnett that year in the final. You talk about a job that was robbed. They robbed that game from Long County up there in the semifinals. That was a sad day up there.
Long County?
Yeah. Nicholas Wells, one of the best pitchers in the world. First pitch right down the heart of the plate. Ball. Maybe he missed it. Second one better than the first one. Ball. Mike Eckel went ballistic, got thrown out of the ball game in the second pitch of the game. I'll never forget it. We're wrapping up, coming home, and this old man had been there forever. He lived there. He says, "I've seen a lot of jobs. I've seen a lot of games stolen, but that's the best stolen game we've had up here in years."
Go out there and have that a pair of glasses. Huh?
That was a sad day. They stole that from Long County.
Yeah, that was several years ago, right?
That was a long time ago. That was back in Nicholas. That was back in Dustin McGowan.
That's back in the 90s. Yeah.
They had a good baseball team. So.
They did.
But I've seen it, like I said, through the years. It's just sad to see. I said maybe one day they'll get instant replay in GHSA or give some coaches some, protest appeals like they do in NFL, where you at least get question 2 calls. But I don't know what he saw. I asked Coach McDonald, what did he say when you went out there and said? I was coming home. I was getting calls all the time. Was it as bad as you? I said, I'm telling you, it wasn't even close. It wasn't like it was near the bag. It was 2 feet foul. It
2
wasn't
feet
even,
foul.
It wasn't even close.
He called it
He
foul.
called it
but
foul.
Then
They're
changed
running.
it.
Yeah, they're running around the bases. Barry scored runs. I guess it's okay. I was like, come on, Blue. How are these people sleeping now? It's like, we still remember the trip to Griffin. Touchdown called a fumble.
We would have won state that year.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Because we would have beat Griffin, and they beat the turkey out of Carrollton the next week for state, which means we would have beat them.
I mean, I still remember going to the bus and poor Anthony Jordan's crying. I said, man, it's not your fault. I said, you scored a touchdown.
We scored. WTOC said we scored because they were there with the cameras.
I'll never forget that PA announcer. He turned that microphone off because he was not obnoxious as all get out during the ball game. Me and Joe were by him. He turned that microphone off. He looked and said, y'all got robbed. I said, we know. But there's nothing we can do about it.
We could have had a state championship that year. We lost to
Malik and Crenwick Sanders. They put on a show that year, and that was fun to watch. But like I said, it's just sad to see over the years. But like I said, Jay Brennan said it best. Don't let them in it. You let them in it, they could take it. So make sure you take them out of it. So, sad.
All right, Bob. Well, we're out of time.
Okay.
Have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by Heron Aldridge Insurance. Also brought to you by the Service Department of GNS Auto Sales, First Southern Bank, and Murphy Builder Supply.